Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, May 24th. So today we have a pretty crazy day going on in the cosmos. Here's why I say that. First of all, we have the moon moving out of Piscean energy into Aries energy. Because we have Mars at its final degree in Pisces before taking its power back, its rightful place, its throne in Aries, we have this pressurized system wrapping up this Piscean energy, not only with the moon, but with Mars. Mars moves into Aries with the moon moving into Aries, and then the moon goes ahead and starts aspecting Jupiter, who is already in Aries. 13 different aspects, lucky number 13, 10 of them involve the moon. So let's talk about it. First of all, the moon in Pisces will be going void, of course, around 5:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, locking into Aries energy 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anytime we have the moon moving out of Piscean energy, which has been very emotional, very sleepy, very dreamy, kind of creative, a little bit kind of vague and wish-washy and overwhelming at times, and moving into Aries energy, Aries brings the spark back. It brings life back. It really does kind of trigger an inner realm awakening, if you will. And because this is, 13 different aspects, that's technically a pretty crazy and chaotic day in the cosmos, we are definitely working through some emotions, through some thoughts, through some realizations. Of course, we just had the last quarter moon in Pisces, which gave us these aha moments, these revelations, these realizations, bringing everything full circle. And now, having all of these planets move into Aries energy, you best believe we are getting fired up. We are cutting the cord with the past. We are anxiously awaiting a brand new cycle. We are beginning a brand new cycle. And again, bringing things to life. So right out of the gate, we have the moon and the sun. The moon in Pisces, the sun in Gemini, making this very harmonious aspect, really helping us in our mental realm, in our spiritual realm, to kind of get a visual, kind of get a dream, align with our higher self, bring some of those insights into our awareness. The sun, of course, is illuminating where it is we need to kind of, have a new outlook on things. The sun being in Gemini, very divided, very polarized. We have, one foot in the logical, practical, egoic realm, the other foot in the spiritual, intuitive realm. The moon in Pisces, definitely more focused on intuitive insights. This is kind of where we get a bigger, greater, grander vision, dream, goal going on in our inner realms. And then we're trying to figure out how it is that we're going to embody the qualities and characteristics that the sun is shining a bright light on in this Gemini energy in order to actually bring it to life, which means that we have to think logical, we have to think practical, we have to open our minds up, we have to kind of be a little bit more social, talk about it, bring it into this thought realm. This is, again, a lot going on in the mental plane, a lot going on between our imagination, first and foremost, moon in Pisces, and bringing it into the egoic, practical, logical realm of thought. And the sun, of course, just shining a bright light on what it is that we're going to do to bring some of these thoughts, these ideas, these dreams into our physical reality. The moon is going to sextile the true node. The true node, of course, wants to get us on the right path, wants to see us reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. The true node is definitely a futuristic type of energy. And the moon in Pisces actually works very well with this aspect because the moon in Pisces not only has us more aligned with our higher selves, with our intuition, but we're lost in la la land. We're dreamy, we're imaginative, we're creative, and we have to kind of lose ourselves in that space in order to have a visual, an imaginary visual on what it is that we want to be living, what it is we want to be manifesting. And in doing so, we start kind of clicking, having these aha moments on what it is that we have to do in the here and now in order to actually align with that vision, with that dream, with that futuristic reality that we're looking to manifest. Venus is going to bump into Neptune in not the nicest way. Now, here's the thing. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Neptune is kind of our intuition, our soul self, our soul contracts, our dreams, our creativity, our imagination. And Venus, of course, being the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and worth and money, she kind of rules over the joy, the pleasure, the happiness of our egoic realm, of our physical circumstances. But let me just say, Venus being in Aries energy, a little bit fired up, hella aggressive, pretty straightforward, not willing to tolerate some situations and past behaviors of old energetic exchanges. This particular aspect is likely going to manifest as a trigger, as an activation in our personal relationships. And here's why. The fact that Neptune energy, being in Pisces, its place of power, is having all of these kind of dreams, this imaginary reality, if you will. Something is going to pop off in our physical circumstances with a personal relationship that is totally going to put us in an inner conflict with actually making us believe that that dream, that visual is possible. Now, let me just remind you, we are going through a time where people in our lives are exposing themselves to us, showing us their true colors. Venus in Aries doesn't want to mess around anymore. She just wants what she wants. She has new passions. She has new desires. She has this kind of like warrior goddess spirit where we're not tolerating the bullshit from the past. We're not tolerating disrespect. If you're not seeing us in the light in which we are presenting ourselves, then we will show you the door. So this little relationship pop off that we're going to be, experiencing is definitely going to put us in a position where we really do have to sit and think about what it is that we want for ourselves, especially in our emotional relationships, because this Neptune energy has us living in fantasy land with the rose-colored glasses. And, Venus right now is looking at this situation popping off, having people expose their true colors to us. And she's not really willing to wear those rose-colored glasses anymore because that got her in trouble in the past. So we are going to feel a little bit conflicted here. Now, Venus goes ahead and she sextiles Saturn, the Lord of Karma. And this particular aspect is a positive one. So we're not really bringing negative Nancy out too much to play. We are having this earlier situation pop off, really kind of create some uneasy feelings within us. But what it does for us is it puts us in a position to be logical and practical, especially with our energy exchanges in our personal relationships. We are focused on wanting safety, on security. We are a little bit more conservative with our emotions, with our affection, with our words, with our actions, because we are kind of putting a wall up around our thoughts, around our feelings. Now, that doesn't really sound like a good thing to put a wall up, but right now it's absolutely necessary because we need a little bit of a time out after this situation pops off to get a grip, to actually look at the facts of what people are showing us, what people are telling us, without getting kind of diluted by our own inner fantasies. So we do have to come back down to earth a little bit. That Saturn energy always kind of lends us a reality check of sorts. And where Venus is in Aries, it's actually a good energy for us because we're not messing around. And we're factoring in what it is we want, what it is we don't want. We are discarding all the things that we don't want. We are, just consciously looking at what is blocking us, what is preventing us to have this relationship of safety and security, what is creating chaos instead of stability. And we're not messing around. Again, that warrior spirit of Aries really puts us in a position where we're willing to cut the head off the snake and leave it in the past in order for it to figure itself out, because we want better, we need better, we desire better. The moon at this time in Pisces goes ahead and conjuncts, sits next to, bumps into Neptune, who is in Pisces, its place of power as well. Now, let me just say, this can manifest in a couple of different ways. I want to give you both so that you can kind of be aware on how it is that you're going to control the energy within you. Firstly, It could be in the positive aspect of gaining huge intuitive insights, a huge dream, a huge vision, having these creative downloads. We could feel overwhelmed with love, with spirituality, with understanding, with inspiration, with motivation. That's the good side of things. The bad side of things is that we could be so overwhelmed with emotion because we are hypersensitive in this Piscean energy that we just shut down, that we detach from reality altogether, that we bury our head in the sand, that we want to numb ourselves out, turning to drugs or alcohol or, work or extreme exercise, whatever it is that you do to distract yourself from the thoughts and feelings that, typically speaking, get to be a little bit much. So again, we always have a choice on how we're going to allow this energy to manifest within us. And I do really encourage you to try and lean on the side of vibration and frequency that would allow you to really experience this in the most positive light. The moon is going to bump into Saturn and then Venus within 10 minutes of each other. And again, not in the nicest way. So what I kind of feel is going to manifest out of this is, first of all, we kind of, pass the earlier test of, Venus bumping into Neptune and then, Saturn kind of bringing us back down to earth with that reality check of people letting us know who it is that they actually are, how it is they think, how it is they feel. We had to disconnect a little bit, protect ourselves a little bit in order for us to do the deep dive into our thoughts, into our emotions, to get very clear on what it is that we're actually going to stand for and what it is that we're actually done with. The moon bumping into Saturn in this way is again kind of amplifying the outside triggers and activations that we have no control over, that are kind of bringing us down. Again, Saturn delivering that reality check, that bitch slap of truth, if you will. This is, again, a tendency where negative Nancy comes out to play. If on the earlier aspect of the moon bumping into Neptune, you were on that shadow side of being overwhelmed, too hyperstimulated, wanting to run, wanting to hide, wanting to just bury your head in the sand, this is likely going to amplify that particular energy, which isn't good for anyone because that means that we're kind of spiraling. And we're spiraling because we don't know what we want for ourselves, where our relationship values are concerned. And we know that because after bumping into Saturn, the moon bumps into Venus, amplifying the situation popping off in our relationship dynamics. Now, the moon in Pisces, very, like I said, overstimulated, very attached to the past, wearing those rose-colored glasses. We really don't want to see the truth. Venus in Aries has no choice but to see the truth because we're tired of repeating past patterns and behaviors that are below us. We've done a lot of work within ourselves to bust up and level up our self-confidence, our self-esteem, our self-worth, our self-value that we're seeing within ourselves. And we are not about to allow people to bring us down a peg. So the situation that's popping off outside of us isn't going to feel very good. It's putting us at a little bit of an inner conflict with ourselves because emotionally speaking, we kind of know what we want, what we need, what we desire, but what it is that we're seeing from the people in our lives that we want, need, and desire those aspects from, they're not on the same page, and that can definitely hurt us. The truth pill is never quite easy to swallow. And right now we're just having to kind of process, sort through what's going on in our head space, what's going on in our heart space, and attempting to try and get them on the same page. Now we're going to have some positive energies pop off here. It is going to, let me just say this earlier situation, between the earlier situation that kind of puts us in a negative spiral to these positive aspects are about, let's say, 4 to 5 hours that we're going to be sitting in this processing stage of funk, if you will. Then the moon sextiles Pluto. This is a beautiful energy for a lot of reasons because it means that out of the earlier discomfort or realization or truth that we had a hard time processing and swallowing, there's a great transformation that's happening within us, in our heart space, in our head space. We are essentially getting a grip. Now, keep in mind that Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn energy, trying to do an inner realm journey of trying to show us where in the past We did not stand up for ourselves. We did not advocate for ourselves, where we allowed our own self-destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors get the best of us and essentially give our power away to other people. The fact that the moon is bumping into Pluto in this way kind of suggests to us that whatever situation popped off that we weren't really happy with earlier in our personal relationships is giving us an opportunity to right the wrongs of the past. Are we going to allow other people to have this much power over us? I sure hope not. Are we going to continue these self-destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors and stay in a victimhood mentality? I sure hope not. And this particular aspect would suggest that this is a boss-up move for us to kind of use the earlier situation as a means, as an inspiration, as a catalyst, as a motivation to do better, to boss up, to stand in our power, to use our place of authority within ourselves to say, you know what, that might have kind of flied by in the past or flown by in the past, but it ain't happening now. Done too much work on myself, too much building up within my inner realm to go back to allow those types of situations to keep me in a state of victimhood and paralysis. The moon sextiles Mercury. This is a beautiful aspect as well, because Mercury, of course, is retrograde, moving back now into Taurus energy at those final degrees of Taurus, taking us back to essentially April 10th, where we're kind of like retracing our steps on all that has transpired, especially where relationships are concerned. Because, of course, we had that eclipse portal that highlighted for us the relationships that we're in that we shouldn't be in, that we need to let go of, that many of us are being stripped of because we don't really technically have the heart or the balls to do that ourselves. So the universe threw us this wrench, threw us this wild card in eclipse season in order for us to recognize what it is we need to let go of in order to have the space to build something new, to build something stronger, more aligned, better, supporting, encouraging. And the moon bumping into Mercury in this way, first of all, the moon, very representative of our emotions, of our heart space. Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane. Mercury being retrograde means that we're reflecting, we're reviewing, we're going back in the past, just like Pluto just allowed us to do, to review past situations and scenarios that we given our power away, that we allowed our inner demons, our inner narrative, our destructive and obsessive and damaging behaviors really get the best of us in the past. So Mercury in this way, sextiling with the moon, is getting our heart and our head on the same page by reflecting over the past, reflecting why certain situations had to pop off, what it is that we're learning about it. And in Taurus energy, we are putting the blinders on in order to rebuild the right perspective, the right understanding, the right narrative, the right idea. We are also, formulating what it is that we have to communicate to these people that are showing us these true colors that we honestly would prefer not to see, because again, we've been so used to wearing these rose-colored glasses. But at the same time, the moon and Mercury are getting us on the same page on what it is that we need to be focused on, what it is that we need to build, what it is we need to strengthen, what it is that we need to express fully in order for us to stand in our power. So 5:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going to conjunct Mars at the final degree of Pisces, 29th degree. It's always a critical degree, always a crisis degree. This is why we're going to feel revved up. We're going to feel a little bit agitated, a little bit frustrated. If you haven't listened to the ascension forecast for this week, I'm going to recommend you do so. The pressure always builds when we are at the final degree of an energy preparing to move into another one. Now, let me just say this. Before the moon goes void, of course, the moon bumps into Mars in this way at the final degree in this 29th degree of Pisces. This can manifest in a couple of ways as well. First of all, we can be highly motivated, highly inspired, ready to take on a new challenge, ready to take action, bringing our dreams, bringing our goals to life. We can feel on the same page with a new will, a new determination, a new motivation, really inspiring us to not let the blockages, the challenges, the obstacles get in our way. Instead, we're going to boss up, warrior our way through them, because we absolutely know what we want, need, and desire, and we will stop at nothing to get it. The shadow part of this energy, and again, it's up to you on how you want to manifest it, is that we are feeling angered and frustrated. We are feeling kind of held back. We are feeling restricted. Things aren't going fast enough. Things aren't, unfolding in the way that we would like. We could feel overwhelmed, hyperstimulated, just wanting to run and hide. Again, the moon in Pisces and Pisces energy, because of Mars sitting in this final degree, is the escape artist of the zodiac. We want to run, we want to hide, we don't want to deal with reality, we want to numb, we just want to bury our heads in the sand. Now, because we are on the precipice, on the cusp of Mars moving into its place of power in this Aries energy, we are feeling this inner impulsivity. We're feeling like we're vibrating on the inside. Now, there's a very thin line between passion and anger, and this would be a prime example on how we're going to allow this energy to actually manifest. So 5:33, the moon bumps into Mars. It could go either way. I'm going to suggest that you try to keep a high vibe, high frequency, so that we experience the light part, the pros of this energy, and then the moon goes void of course, making us very unsure, very unstable, a little bit jittery, hella anxious. We lock into this Aries energy at 5:40 p.m. 7:18 p.m., we have Mars moving into Aries. This is a beautiful energy. This has got us all riled up. We are fired up. I'm going to recommend that you listen to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular event so that you understand the pros and cons of what we're going to be experiencing for the next approximately 6 weeks of this particular aspect. This is going to be an absolute game changer. We are aggressive, we're straightforward, we are making up for lost time. There is going to be a lot to process, a lot to move through, a lot of action, a lot of opportunity. The moon then goes ahead and semi-squares Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He likes to open up our higher realm of intellect. We're receiving aha moments, connections, we're having epiphanies in order for us to basically see the positives, see the opportunities, see the possibilities of what's going on here. But a semi-square is a tension point. Now, we have the moon in Aries energy, all fired up, hella passionate, wanting new experiences, wanting to really just, express oneself fully. We're all full of piss and vinegar. And bumping into Uranus in this way has us feeling hella anxious. Uranian energy rolls over our central nervous system, so we're getting a zap of anxiety here. Again, the moon in Aries just wants to take action, wants to fully express oneself, wants to pop off, wants to make a difference, wants to do something different. This could be a recipe for disaster if you're not aware of yourself, aware of your energy. We also come into a place where we're a little bit confused about our emotions, about what it is we actually want for ourselves in this time. This Aries energy does have a tendency to just want to act out first and deal with the consequences later. But we have other aspects in the planetary realm kind of preventing us from doing that because we can't really take the chance of effing up right now. We're in a year where we're trying to perfect the foundations in our life. So we can't just be popping off willy-nilly, taking action and dealing with the consequences later. We do have to be thorough in our thought process. We have to be calculated. We have to be strategic. And this particular energy kind of has us a little bit rebellious. We are not wanting to play by the rules. We're not wanting to kind of sit idle. We want to do something. And that can fester up in a negative way if we're not careful. 10:27 p.m., the last and final aspect for the day, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Jupiter. They're sitting next to each other because, as you know, Jupiter is fresh into Aries energy. This is going to have us feeling hella extra, big, overwhelmed, if you will. Why? Because Jupiter is the planet of growth. He puts a magnifying glass on whatever it is that we're thinking and what it is that we're feeling. In Aries energy, we're feeling fired up. We feel the spark. We want to take action. We want to take the lead. We want to have new experiences. We want to kind of lessen the duration of time that it takes to get from point A to point B. We have new passions, new desires that we want to pursue. And there's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration that comes with that because things aren't moving as fast as we would like. The moon and Jupiter in this way could magnify us in all the positive ways or in all the negative ways. Again, The line between passion and anger is very, very thin. And many of us will be walking on that very thin line, trying to figure out what it is that we want to do from here. The moon and Jupiter have the tendency to kind of turn the volume all the way up on both the pros and the cons of this energy. And this is why it's so important, especially now with all of these planets moving into this fire energy that many of us have not experienced for quite some time. We haven't had this much fire energy in the cosmos. This can feel a little bit manic. I would like to think that we could, ride the excitement wave. But again, that excitement can be overwhelming at times, wanting to get the party started, wanting to see the rewards, the productivity for our energy, for our efforts, and not seeing it as fast as we would like can put us in a little bit of a tantrum, a little bit of a funk, a little bit of a frustrated, anger-filled situation where we want so much, we want more, and we want it all yesterday. And that can be, setting us up for disappointment and a detriment, because this Aries energy, the lesson that comes with all this Aries energy is energy management. Aries has an energy and a tendency for us to jump in, both feet, just hit the ground running and burn ourselves out long before we ever see the end result of our dream, of our vision, of our goal. So this is going to be a little bit of a cray-cray kind of day with 13 different aspects and all of this change up from, Pisces energy to Aries energy and all these different team ups and aspects. We are going to have to be very mindful on how we allow this energy to manifest within our bodies.